So many people suffer from inflammation. In fact, it's a key element in about 70% of chronic diseases. But how do you know if you're one of these people that's dealing with this silent killer of chronic inflammation? And then once you know that you do have inflammation, well, then what do you do about it? So some of the signs that you can look for as clues that you may be dealing with some chronic inflammation are body pain, skin rashes, excessive mucus production, generally low energy and fatigue, adrenal fatigue type of symptoms, poor digestion. And so these would be indicators that something is off, right? And inflammation can be a big factor here. So the test that you want to look at is called HSCRP, and this is something you can get done with your doctor. It's included generally on most complete blood panels. Your doctor may have gone over that with you in detail, or maybe not. Sometimes they don't really focus on it as much as maybe they should. Now, it's called HSCRP, sometimes shortened to CRP, or sometimes more casually referred to as C-reactive protein. And this is a measure of the overall levels of inflammation in your body and can give you a lot of insights. Now, let's say you're dealing with some inflammation. What do you do now? Well, you got to think about what can cause inflammation in the body. So are you having lots of sugar? Are you very stressed? Are you consuming trans fats and refined carbs? Things like MSG and gluten and aspartame and alcohol. All of these things can be promoting chronic inflammation. Also, imbalance of the gut microbiome would do that, or exposure to environmental toxins, like let's say you're living in a moldy home, for example. That would do it as well. So generally, clearing these things out from one's life and diet is going to have a great effect on its own. Then you can also look at adding in some great anti-inflammatories into your diet and into your supplements. There's many, but I'm going to focus just on a couple of the top ones. So the first I want to mention is molecular hydrogen. You get these tablets, you dissolve them in water, it turns into a gas, and you drink that water down as soon as the tablet dissolves before all that hydrogen gas bubbles away. Molecular hydrogen acts very effectively as a selective anti-inflammatory. And I say selective because it's going after specifically chronic inflammation rather than acute inflammation. If you have an injury, for example, or if you've just worked out, there's going to be acute inflammation happening. That's good. This inflammation is only a problem when it becomes long-term, permanent, chronic inflammation. And that's an issue. Part of the healing process in the short term for after you've worked out or after you've had an injury is acute inflammation. That's not what we want to suppress. It's the chronic inflammation, and molecular hydrogen can do that. Then you probably heard about turmeric as being a great anti-inflammatory. Problem with turmeric is it's very poorly bioavailable. It's not very easily absorbed into the body. So generally in traditional Ayurvedic preparations, you see it combined with black pepper, which helps improve its bioavailability, but it's only to a certain degree. Ultimately, the best way to do it is in a form called a phytosome. And this is done as a product called Meriva, M-E-R-I-V-A. So that's been developed, the technology behind that, and then they license it to various different supplement companies. So you'll see quite a few different supplement companies selling a Meriva product. And so that is a very powerful natural anti-inflammatory coming from turmeric that is now exceptionally bioavailable. Contrasted to, let's say, you're going to a juice bar and you ask for a turmeric shot. Okay, well, great. There's, certainly you're gonna get some benefit out of it, but most of it's not even gonna really get absorbed in terms of the real beneficial compounds that you're after in there. And then you also want to really think about your ratio dietarily of omega-3s to omega-6s. So these are both essential fatty acids. You need them dietarily. Your body cannot synthesize them. However, for most people, they are consuming in an inordinate amount of omega-6s relative to the amount of omega-3s in the diet. So ideally, you want your blood ratio to be in the range of 3 parts omega-6 to 1 part omega-3. For most people, they're not even coming close to that. So you want to think, okay, where am I getting lots of omega-6s and not lots of omega-3s? This generally would come from nut and seed sources. Most plant fats are going to be very high in omega-6s, not very high in omega-3s, and even then, the omega-3s that you get there are the ALA, shorter omega-3s compared to the EPA, DHA, long-chain omega-3s that are really the most beneficial. So you want to don't go overboard on these omega-6 rich foods. Even if you look at something like Hemp seeds, for example, which are one of the greatest plant sources of the short chain omega-3s and have a pretty good ratio. Even here, it's a 3-to-1 ratio. So that is the ratio that you want, which is nice, but you really need to consume extra omega-3s if you're having any other sources of omega-6s in the diet that are pulling you in the other wrong direction. Just having the hemp seeds is not quite enough to get you to that perfect level. So here we look at making sure if you're having meat that it's grass-fed, because that's going to have a good amount of omega-3s. If you're having dairy, again, grass-fed, something like ghee or grass-fed butter. And then for the most effective thing, you would either look towards fish oil, krill oil, or algae oil for the really great long-chain EPA and DHA omega-3s that are going to act also very powerfully as anti-inflammatories and help you return that omega-3, omega-6 balance to a healthier level. So if you guys have enjoyed this video, if you found anything interesting in here and gotten some value out of this, please do me a favor. Just take a moment to click the like button below and subscribe to our channel. It is a huge help for us if you do that. And if you want to take it a step further, check out our website. We have some amazing adaptogens, different Chinese and Ayurvedic and Thai herbs, amazing chocolates that I think you'll really enjoy that are all sugar-free and made with the most amazing ingredients. So thank you again for joining me today, guys. Really hope that this has been beneficial to you, and I hope to see you guys all again soon.